What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bay Area Boys, where we talk about everything Bay Area.
With the boys.
How you doing, man?
Good.
So I want to start off with something a little off the cuff here. I heard that you had quite a harrowing experience this last week when showing houses.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to bring that up.
I know.
Dude, it was gnarly.
Good interviewer here. What can I say? I want to catch you off. I want you to be sincere, So what happened?
Yeah, so two incidents. I'll start with the least recent incident, which was I go to meet a client for the first time in Berkeley. I get there about 20 minutes early because I was going to do a little video on it. And I get there and the fridge is in the living room. And I'm like, oh, there must be a handyman. You must be a handyman here. I usually get there and there's somebody just wrenching or something.
Yeah.
And the door is wide open when I go there. So it's a little bit off, but I see the fridge in the middle of the living room. So I'm like, okay, yeah, handyman. I say hello a couple times, nothing. Then I see a bird jumping around on the floor. I'm like, all right. Then I see smashed glass all over the floor. I'm like, this is okay. It's a break-in. So go say hello a few more times, make sure nobody's in the house. Then I notice that the oven's totally gone. So they smashed the window, took the oven, tried to take the fridge. Obviously couldn't take the fridge. Maybe it was just two dudes or something. But so I call the agent immediately and she's like, flabbergasted. And then she sends, I finished the showing because I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. I kind of think looking back, I was kind of like, maybe it was a little inappropriate to kind of, I guess, have clients at a crime scene type of thing. But they were already almost there, and it was maybe they still like the house,
Yeah,
the house still got to sell.
This is where the oven would go if it were here. The refrigerator is in a weird spot, but we can slide it back into the kitchen.
And I have seen these happen in the hills before because it's just it's a little bit more secluded. I'm kind of surprised maybe the neighbors didn't hear a window smash. You never know.
Yeah.
But then she sends one of her associates over and just kind of check on the place. And then later that day, I get a call from Berkeley Police Department. Have to do the whole thing. Ugh. And I already immediately kind of think they probably thought it was me. You know what I mean? They probably think I had something to do with it. But I just uploaded the video I took and then sent it to them. Had to shoo the bird out of the house. It's crazy.
Damn, the consummate professional.
Yeah.
You shoot a bird?
I have a video of shooing the bird.
Oh, dear, really? Content, baby. It's all content. I think the cops knew it probably wasn't you. They took one look at you and said, he's not moving an oven.
Or if they, they saw I have a squeaky clean record.
Yeah?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Story for another day.
All right, incident number 2 was way crazier.
This is the one that I was asking about.
So incident number 2, so this place, when I put the MLS sheet in my notebook, it was open house, right? So I'm like, cool, I don't need to make a confirmation or anything like that. I get there, call the listing agent, I'm like, hey, says here that you got an open house. Nobody's here. What's going on? She's like, oh my gosh, we canceled it. A tree fell in the backyard, but my co-listing agent is going to be there in 15 minutes to meet, one of the haulers or whatever to get the tree out of there so he can open the door for you because it's private showings only. We get there and he pulls up and he's a little off when he's walking up, no friendliness. And I'm like, hey, are you I didn't know if he was the tree guy because he was wearing a bomber jacket and Nikes. And I'm like, you so-and-so's co-listing agent? He's like, yep. He's like, I'm, points to the sign, no smile, walks up, kind of, unlocks the door, just kind of opens it. Not hey, come on in,
Yeah.
Like we're used to doing. So he opens up, starts opening up to it's this huge, accordion door, inside outside, and turning on all the lights, and then all of a sudden we just hear this deep belly yell, I don't even want to I'll probably blow Johnny's ear out trying to reenact it, but and then we me and the husband of the couple go out there, and then he's full on having a seizure.
Damn.
Yeah, horrible, bad. And they had never seen a seizure before, so they kind of didn't know what the hell was going on. I've seen 2 before.
How have you seen 2 seizures?
Just seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just random, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen one?
Yes.
Yeah. They're intense.
So, yeah, especially if it's a grand mal seizure, absolutely.
What is that?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was about 3 minutes long.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, go keep
Just
going,
consoling him through it. You know
was
what I mean?
was he conscious at
No,
all? He was
no.
fully
just fully like,
okay.
you know, just trying to talk to him, you know, when there's not really doing much, but yelling throughout the whole entire seizure. And he fell. So he cut his huge cut under his eye, dirt all over his face. He fell in the grass. And when he wakes up enough, he's like super out of it. So he thinks like we like attacked him.
Yep.
You know, he fell on his wrist, so he messed up his wrist. He dislocated his shoulder. And
Was he a bigger guy?
No, probably same height as me. Like
He must
a
just
little
fallen.
tiny bit bulkier. But
Okay.
yeah, he just fell. But I the way he came up, he must. I don't know what it's like before you have a seizure, but he must have been off.
Oh yeah, disorientation.
Yeah.
Yeah, your body starts to kind of almost like sense what's going on, and you slowly shut down until all of a sudden it just kind of snaps on you.
Yeah. So yeah, I called the, you know, immediately it happens. I call the ambulance first things first, right? And then saw him through it. And then, yeah, like he, you know, he was just so out of it. It's like so messed up to see somebody like in that state. And probably like embarrassing really, which, you know, shouldn't be, but it's embarrassing thing to go through. So yeah, he got taken away by the ambulance. And then that was two things that happened in the span of a weekend.
Did you finish the showing on this one?
Of course. I had, so that was the thing. Like there was like private showings only. It was private showings only. And like I called the agent, like let her know what happened. And she's like flabbergasted. Right. And then,
was it like a haunting showing at that point? Like, did you just have in this like malaise just go through the house? Did you like,
it was such a nice house. It was like just like the most like modern, freshly remodeled, like kind of Eichler style.
but that's what I'm saying.
Indoor, outdoor living.
What was your mindset? Or were you like, oh,
I was pretty out.
Like, were you in shock?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It was the last showing of the day. And like, what, I mean, I think they were more in shock than I was because it's like I said, I've seen 2 other seizures before.
Right.
So, and like, I knew instantly what was happening. When he first yelled, I thought there was like, he got like a devastating text. That's what it sounded like.
Devastating
like, you know, like somebody had like somebody,
Right,
you know,
right.
something like that.
Right.
But yeah, so he had the key and I couldn't find the key anywhere. And I didn't know the combo lockbox because they're like private showings only. And I'm
Right.
like, so I called her. I'm like, hey, I'm going to try to get the paramedics to get the key from him, but like the key's not in the lockbox. I checked outside. It didn't fall on the ground. And like, she was like weary of giving me like the combo key. I'm like, hey, I mean, I can leave this place unlocked.
Yeah.
But like, then paramedics ended up like got his keys, but none of the keys were it. So we locked up and then hopped out through the garage as it was closing.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm glad you were there for that. That's a big deal.
He just pulled up and it happened 3 minutes after that. So it could have been him driving like in the hills of Lafayette, which could have been, you know, right into someone's house.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Yeah, man. What a harrowing experience.
Yeah.
Proud of you though for keeping your cool and calling 911. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Handled yourself well.
So
That's what we realtors do in the heat of the moment when things are the thickest. We keep our cool. We think smart. We think straight.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why you'd want to hire
calm,
us.
collective.
Cool, calm, collected,
What do you
slow and
got to add to
smooth.
that, Johnny?
Slow and smooth as fast. Okay.
I was gonna say, Matt, have you heard of when Roland and I were filming a YouTube video for him, and then we were like some saviors, like once again another.
Yeah, we never talked about that.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. We got this. We're sharing stories here.
Yeah.
I saved a little girl's life over the weekend too. By the way, just want to throw that out.
Let's not worry about
It's not a big deal.
Matt,
we're not talking about me.
We
We're not
did
talking.
ask you.
I know. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
This is kind of we're having our moment.
I know.
Here,
I'm sorry. I can't. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Johnny, kick it off, dude.
No, I mean,
You got brought in the conversation.
no, I mean, I want you to say this because you're on camera.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just keep going on about myself.
Yeah, but please. No, this is good. I love this.
So we're driving, doing a YouTube video in Larky Park area of Walnut Creek, and you know Johnny's always like just looking at cars and scouting for cars and shit. So I really think that's the reason why he saw it.
Okay.
Old cars, but we drive by and there's like a bunch of smoke coming out of a car, and like he's like, oh dude, we gotta like you gotta stop, like that car's like about to catch fire, and I'm like, I kind of remember getting a little bit pissed on it at him because he was like so excited about it, and I was like, dude, like it's fucking, it's fine, kind of thing.
You thought he was
like,
overreacting.
He's like, no, dude, like I think you have to turn around. So I like turn around.
Hold on, wait. You I'm like yelling at him, damn near. I'm like, stop, we need to turn around.
Yeah, I was like, dude, hold on, like I can't just stop right here. I gotta,
like, there's no one behind us. Turn around.
Like, dude, like I'm not gonna slam on the brakes.
I'm seeing what I see on my end is bellowing smoke coming out of the hood of this car.
So I didn't.
And
yeah,
like, it's right next. They pulled it like
right next to a garage.
Right next to the garage.
Right
it's
next
like
to
a couple
another
inches,
house.
and I could see it going up along the garage.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is serious.
Yeah.
And then keep going.
So turn around. We run up. Park in the street. Run up to the house. Knock on the door. A middle-aged lady comes out. One of us immediately, I think I called 911. You knocked on the door. I called 911.
Well, when I ran up, the lady was coming out as I'm like grabbing their garden hose and I'm running to the car.
Oh yeah, he's straight full firefighter.
Fire fought?
It was wild.
I
have a video of it.
I was up there hosing hosing the car, hosing under it, trying to get all around the car, and then I was hosing it down the house.
And the fence. Because
it was right next to it. It was cornered into like a fence. And I was just trying to get everything wet so that it wouldn't grow from there. And then like the homeowners and then other people, like other bystanders, started walking up, and everyone's like yelling, like, "Get away from it! It's gonna blow up!" And then so I finally like back up and I go to the side of this house,
so tucked around behind like the corner of the house, and he's like,
because everyone's yelling at me. And then like the only video that Roland got was of that, and I was like, I look like a little bitch, just hiding from this fire. No one sees what I'm like up in it.
He sprung into action. Honestly, that garage could have caught on fire, and then the second house.
Yeah.
If we didn't.
But
here's the craziest thing.
By inches.
Middle-aged lady comes out. 2 elderly, essentially disabled people are in the house. So the husband's like, he's kind of stubborn. He's like, I'm not leaving the house. And then the old lady's like, oh! Like, oh! And I'm like, carrying her over to the other side, like to get into the car.
She doesn't know what to do. She was like panicking.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, I don't know. She's like, you have to leave. She's like, I don't know. She's like trying to sit down on like the patio.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you can't sit there. We got to go over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Johnny saves that probably whole block. No, it's like a couple houses. But when like you do something like this, you kind of expect the firefighters to be like, man, good job, guys. Like, we got nothing, dude. We got a thank you from the middle-aged lady, like the homeowner. Or the daughter of the homeowner, like, she was kind of thankful, but like, you kind of really expect to be like, man, you guys, like, get a little article in the newspaper or something, like, get a little blog post,
give us our flowers, dude.
No, man, when you're a real hero, you don't expect that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, I'm just so self-absorbed.
We just went and finished the YouTube video. I was gonna say what was weird was as the firefighters come and start doing their job, a neighbor, like the cross the street neighbor lady came over.
Bizarre,
she was really weird. She came up straight to the old man that owned the house, and she's like, is everyone okay? She's like, this is our favorite house on the street. We love this house so much. It's our favorite house. What are you guys doing with it? Are you guys moving soon?
Dude,
we love this house. It's our favorite house on the street.
My husband owns right over there.
It was like actively on fire almost.
Yeah.
Like they're in like shock. Like they're in shock. They're like super elderly and and you can tell she's just pitching to like buy this house.
Oh my god,
dude! It was the most bizarre. And that's I told Johnny, I was like, dude, if I was a straight up, asshole, I would have been like, hey, if you guys ever need any help, you know what I mean? Like, but of course I'm not gonna do that. Like that's just so bizarre. That's
such an ambulance chaser like
exactly.
Move, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Seems like you guys need to make some life changes. Yes.
I will admit to Roland that the only reason I saw the fire is that they did have like a classic station wagon out front, and I saw that and I was like, ooh, I like that. Yeah. And then I saw the fire,
and then even him was like, yeah, dude, if I was an asshole, I would have been like, what are you guys doing with this station wagon?
Yeah, because it's obviously it was on all 4 flats. It had like cobwebs all over it, and I would have loved to have that, but I didn't ask him. And like even the lady was asking about that car too, and he's like, oh yeah, we're getting that moved. It's like sometime soon, and I was like, I always like wish like, oh, I wish I was able to talk to him, but it's so inappropriate.
Yeah, dude.
Like it's not the time or place.
No.
And then that YouTube video flopped.
Yeah.
And we spent a bunch of time on it.
Yeah.
So that was 8 hours on it.
Yeah, that was
okay, but you made that YouTube video to possibly save lives.
It's in the YouTube video.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why you made that video. It wasn't to get views, it was to save lives.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
We didn't save lives for the views.
But you saved lives because you were making the YouTube video.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It was fate.
That's what I'm saying. That was the
that's
reason the
interesting. That's
YouTube
super
video
interesting.
was made, was to save the lives of those people.
Yeah. That's some Benjamin Button shit.
Not really.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just kind of.
I would say that's more signs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like the reason you like classic cars is because like the world knew that in 20 some odd years that you needed to save a life.
Classic cars, it's like everything was right
Signs,
on track.
dude. If you didn't do YouTube videos, you wouldn't be out there filming a YouTube.
Dude.
See?
I love that.
Signs.
Saw the glasses of water. Yeah.
Bingo. And baseball bat. Swing away.
Yeah, swing away at Johnny. What's his name?
I don't remember.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
By the way, the dog is Zeus. Hercules.
There you go. Okay. Atta baby. Close. You were close on your Greek.
Zeus?
Yeah, you were close on your Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Because that was gonna be my question. If you would have won, this is the Beast, and I would have said, what's his name?
Yeah.
And you knew this was Wendy Peppercorn.
I thought peppercorn.
Peppercorn.
Nice.
Okay, you were close.
Yeah.
Not bad. 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Not bad. You stuck the landing.
Maybe 9. Maybe if I did 2 incorrect, would have been.
I'd still give it an 8. Roland, can we please get to topics for the Bay Area for these wonderful people? This is
it was just all about me.
Surprise. So
I want to talk about Zillow, dude. We've been having some. I mean, you and I just been talking a little bit about it, kind of banter back and forth.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing more and more agents talk about how like it's kind of dying for those who have been paying the monthly fees for leads. What are your thoughts, man? Where are you at?
Yeah, it definitely is not as fruitful as it used to be. So for those of you who don't know, agents can pay a monthly fee for Zillow to get leads given to them. For example, if you're a home buyer out there and you go to Zillow and you see a house you want and you hit that I want to take a tour or speak to an agent or whatever button is on there, you get connected to agents who opt in to show in those areas. I am one of them for my Benicia hometown. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I really built a lot of my business off of Zillow, off of the leads. They're expensive, but they get me in front of home buyers that are normally ready to act pretty soon. I've made some great connections. I've gone to weddings from some clients I've gotten from Zillow. I've gone to baby showers. So it's not just all transactional. It really does give you really good introductions to people who want to buy a home.
Yeah.
And over the last year, it's kind of fallen off a cliff.
And that's what's so messed up is that you're paying the same amount of money though.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is because there were no home buyers over the last year, so that's
Very
not.
true. Yeah.
You can't put it all on Zillow saying they dried up. Well, yeah, because nobody was out buying houses.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's I understand that point of it, but just the lead quality hasn't gotten as good, and now apparently what they're doing is possibly getting rid of the single agent buy-in to reach home buyers and are switching to, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like a home
Zillow Flex.
No. Well, yes. So Zillow Flex is for like big teams, and there's no need to get into that, but they're showing something called like showing tours now or something.
Yeah.
There's a new.
We're basically just gonna have agents that just tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're still not sure what that's going to be. It's a bum out because again, it was a pillar of my business.
Yeah.
But if this is how the quality of it's going to be, I don't mind allocating those funds to something else. It'll be kind of nice to switch it up, and we'll see. That's real estate for you. Always changing landscape and figuring out new things when the last thing doesn't work anymore or fails. So it'll be. I'm kind of excited in a way.
Yeah, I think what's awesome for you is that you haven't. It's not like an eggs in one basket thing for you. Like you've had other ways that you generate business.
Absolutely.
Within your business over the years.
Oh yeah, the last like 5 or 6 deals I've done have not come from Zillow because nobody's buying houses from Zillow.
But there are people out there who like that's how they learn, that's how they've started, that's all they know is online lead generation, whether it's realtor.com, whether it's Zillow, whether it's Redfin.
Yeah.
And I just feel I've always been, and I've always kind of given you shit.
Always.
Right. And with many others. And others have given shit for others who do the same exact thing.
For sure.
I've always understood why you do it. At the end of the day, it's all about ROI, and you've made that ROI from that. But I always have had an issue with, even though it does the ROI for you and many other people, that we're contributing to something that is cutting us out.
Sure, which I totally understand. Yeah.
So we're feeding this beast that then is aiming to say, hey, like you're still paying this money, but I'm not really going to do the same thing for you that I did. So I just think it sucks. And it goes back to like corporations, right? So I think you can attest if you're going to allocate that funds to something else that, I mean, hopefully you home buyers out there, I would say like, try not to click on those Zillow links. Like I'm serious. Like you're stopping it now, so I can say that. I would think you're stopping it now. My bad.
Yeah, no, but the problem is this. Like,
I know it's like you said, you had really good relationships.
Yeah, I made friends from Zillow, like truly friends. And you know, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm just going to keep some of it in there because I have a pretty decent Zillow spend per month, but the ROI has been there.
Yeah.
So I might just like half it and move to something else. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I still want to give it a little bit more time, but yeah, it's tough. You know, from a public perspective of don't feed the beast that's trying to come after you. I get that moral stance. That I understand
hold the line.
that. I do. I get it.
Hold the line, dude.
I get that. But from a business perspective, ROI at the
ROI,
end of the day,
yeah.
money is money. And if I can put in $1 and get $5 back, I'm going to do it.
It's a tough one. But at the same time, a lot of the agents are just suckling at that power teat. So it's, I mean, at the end of the day, what I would love is for those of you who see these clips, reach out to us if you're getting to that point, instead of clicking that Zillow link, because very soon here, it's going to get to the point where there is one organization, one team, whatever it is, that runs that gamut, and you'd only be working with them, or even to the eventual point where Zillow is going to have their own agents that they're going to deploy when you click those links, and you're going to get hounded by them.
Here's what I will say too, though, is if it's your only pillar of business, I can see your stance a little bit more of don't feed into it. But for me, it was just one of the pillars of my business.
100%.
Where I wasn't doing everything on Zillow. I have my Google page. I have my sphere of influence. I have my Instagram, Facebook, all those types of things. So I don't just have all my eggs in one basket, which is why it's not so bad for me just to go, okay, whatever I make from this is whatever I make from this, as long as it's getting me a net gain, I'm happy with it.
I guess, and one of the things I'm always so curious about, and for those of you agents who have been in the industry for a long time, I would love for you to comment on what I'm about to say. I want to know their take on the new age of how people get started in this industry, which is joining a big brokerage or a big team that supplies those leads for you. And those leads are on very heavy splits. So I was telling a past client of mine at our Christmas party this past year about how some of those are ran. And he was like so shocked to know like some of these agents, the actual money that they're taking away when they do all this work, because they, you know, people will kind of crunch our numbers sometimes and then be like, oh, you're making this, you're making that.
And they're so wildly
and they don't know about splits and taxes is a huge one.
Else,
And, you know, all the stuff that we do to get to the point of even you working with us.
Right.
So I'm so curious to see what, like, all the work that some of these agents who have been in the industry for a very long time, but just didn't have this thing at their fingertips that could immediately start, you know, getting them closed deals. It's very, very interesting, I think, the amount of work that people have to do now to kind of get started versus then. And yeah, I mean, a lot of the times you could be working, and there's nothing wrong with working with a brand new agent, but for you know, some of those Zillow Flex accounts and things like that, you're working with somebody who's just brand new, who's green, and you would have no idea, you wouldn't know the difference. So
yeah, that's very true.
Or you're working for, you know, like a Zillow tour guide, and you're just contributing to a corporation when you could be contributing to a small business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. I think there's so many ways to go about business in this industry. There really, really is. And I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way. I mean, we've had people that have left for when, was it Redfin that was hiring a few years ago, where it's based off of salary. It's not based off of commission. It's a salary and has benefits.
Yeah. And they take care of everything for you.
It's a completely different setup than what you and I do in this business. And so, you know, I try not to poo-poo anybody who goes about something a certain way, because it's different for everybody. Mm-hmm. Like people who go and work as a agent for Redfin who have a salary and benefits.
I
have a family.
No, I want somebody who's got that grit.
Okay, but
you know what I mean? I want somebody who's got like that, the skin in the game, dude. Like,
well, let me ask you this, because sometimes I've heard the negative side of that from buyers, which is like, oh, don't you just want? So I work with some buyers, and one of the objections that I'd never really heard before was when we were negotiating a price for we were going under ask and we're trying to get it low and get them a good deal. One of the first questions they asked for me is, are you really trying to get us a good deal? Because if the house sells for more, you make more money.
Yeah, but it's relative. Like, what are we talking? 100,000?
Well, and that's what, not even. And I eventually broke it down and said, look, it's going to be a $500 difference. I'm not going to lose A, the relationship, or B, a commission check, if you want to think of it just money wise, over $500.
I'll give you $500 right now, dude.
But you know what I mean?
No,
and that was
sure.
something where, but I've heard that negative side of like, I kind of want an agent who, it doesn't matter what the price of the house is. They're going to work just as hard for me either way. You see what I'm saying?
No,
like,
yeah,
there's
100%.
definitely a counterpoint to that as well.
I don't see that with Redfin agents. I mean, from calls that I'm calling on a listing they may have to a buyer that's submitting offers as a Redfin agent, they got not a lot of care in regards to some other agents and brokerages. That's just my experience.
Shots of fucking Redfin agents, dude.
That's just my experience, right? I can only preach my truth and my opinion.
Sure.
But yeah, man, I want to see somebody who's put in an extreme amount of effort, not only when it comes to marketing, but when it comes to education and going through the process too. I just feel like us, right, as solo agents, like, we do just about everything ourselves. So, other than some of us have some assistants and virtual assistants and things like that, but we are we're going at our own and we're putting an extreme amount of effort all the time on all angles.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's who I would like to go for.
Yeah.
And it seems like the majority of people do. I was just being a little bit of a devil's advocate there. For example, there was on Facebook, we have these really big realtor groups. And when someone says, hey, I need someone to take a seller that is a friend of mine across the country here in the Bay Area, is who knows who. And of course, you get 1,000 people who go on there. But I threw my hat in the ring because you never know. And the guy went to my profile. He went to my Instagram and saw what we do, what I do, and was just like, you seem like you are invested. You get it. You're high tech. You're new age.
Yeah.
You understand the market, obviously, because we talk about it all the time. And so he decided to use me to help
like
his
50
clients.
other people, right?
It was like huge amount of people. And that's just the point, right? Is we really try to put out like what our value is all the time so that the consumer can see that we're not just like, you're going to work with me and you're going to pay me X amount of commission. And I have to do nothing and say nothing. And I just bank this money and I'm super rich because of it. It has nothing to do about all that. The misconceptions, we should do an episode on misconceptions.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into these. We've spent enough time on Zillow.
Talking about ourselves and Zillow and...
Well, you've talked about yourself. I've talked about Zillow. But we've given them enough time. What's our next topic?
So next topic is I wouldn't say a hot button debate, but it's Richmond's homicide rate, which has declined a lot. So, I mean, any homicides within a city or a town is nothing to tote at all.
Sure.
But Richmond did record the lowest homicide rate in decades in 2023 with only 8 homicides, which, you've seen TikTok comments. So when I highlight homes in Richmond, it's like, a lot of negativity in there. But it's true, like Richmond is doing pretty well right now. And there's some really great areas of Richmond that I would love to own a home in. Obviously, there's good and bad areas of every city, right? So I just think it goes to show that Richmond is doing right things, they're doing correct things, and they're going in a positive direction with what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I agree with you that the murder per capita isn't the best thing to say as like a victory. It is if you've had such a negative public view from everyone where they see you as like the literal murder capital of the world. I mean, they use these big superlatives to trash on Richmond. So in this case, I think showing that progress and showing your growth is really good for the entire city and for all of California and for the residents there too. The residents especially.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and here's the thing I run into as well. It's like if I'm working with maybe a younger buyer or maybe their parents are helping them with their purchase, and you bring up Richmond, in 1991, there were 61 homicides in Richmond. So as the parent or the grandparent, whatever it is, that's in your mind. That's what Richmond is.
Absolutely.
And it's gone just down and down and down and down since 1991, which is great. So Richmond officers of neighborhood safety, they established in 2007, which employs a community policing model focusing on at-risk residents through peer monitoring and financial support. So that is, since 2007, that's what's been going on. And we need that in other cities too. Clearly.
Yeah. Supporting people financially and like checking in on one another. What a concept. Oh, it made things better.
Yeah.
Shocker.
For
Shocker.
at-risk, yeah. So expansion efforts in 2020 with Reimagining Public Safety Community Task Force led to additional funding for employment programs, interventions for unhoused residents, and a crisis response program. So that's another thing. It's helping the unhoused people, right? Helping the homeless people, which we desperately need in San Francisco.
Well, and I think those are those civil service teams, organizations that should be implemented more. There's a lot of talk about the policing in the Bay Area, about over the country, for example. And one of the solutions that people have asked for are don't have the police handle everything, right? Because they're ill-equipped to do that. They just are, and that's no fault to the police. I'm not knocking the police on that. That's just not their job, right? That's like asking us as real estate agents to handle a burglary. Well, you work in real estate, right? You work in houses, so handle a burglary.
Yeah.
You are not equipped to do that job.
Yeah.
So I think that changing what the purview of the police should actually be is going to be a big help for everybody, including police force. So having these task forces that handle specific things, I think who are trained to do that, I think can really, and this is proof, right? This is proof that has had a boon to the city for putting the money into these extra things to help take care of the issues that were plaguing this town for so long.
Mm-hmm. So council members really commend and applaud a collaborative effort between police, nonprofits, and community groups like the one that was established in 2007. So
yeah, everybody working together and staying in their lane, basically of doing the things that you need to do. And again, I think that helps. Any business does that. If you think about it, like every business has departments that handle a certain thing. A city at the end of the day is just a giant business. And I think they need the proper departments in place to handle the issues that come up in their business.
Yeah. So, some of you guys who, don't sleep on Richmond, because I think it's just going to keep getting better.
It's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's moving in the right direction. And while, the murder rate has kind of been up and down over the past 30-ish years. It gets better, it kind of gets worse. It gets better, it gets worse. It's still moving in the right direction of getting better. When you really zoom out and take a look at it, the graph is trending properly, or I guess it'd be more down than up. It's trending down in the major crimes like that.
I mean, if East Palo Alto had 0 deaths in 2023, it can definitely be possible for Richmond to have 0 deaths.
Absolutely.
In 2024.
Bay Area, we're on the come up now, baby.
Yeah.
After all the slander, after all the crap y'all gave us, we're good, man. We're coming back. It's rebound time.
All right, so here's a nice little California style ban that actually the Assembly Committee approved, which is a ban on youth tackle football for kids under 12 years old. How are you feeling about this?
People not in the Bay Area are going to lose their
We can't have
minds.
nice things, though. Why can we never have nice things?
So, okay, so let me tell you how I feel about this. I don't think children under 12 should be smashing their heads into each other.
Oh, dude, come on.
I don't. Because the science is starting to come out more and more about it.
No, but the thing is, the younger you are, actually, scientifically, I know this because I have a newborn baby.
Cannot wait to hear.
Your brain has more space within your skull to bounce around.
Oh, yes, because you are a clumsy baby child.
Excuse me. Actually, I said that wrong. So your brain is actually tighter in your skull when you're younger.
Yeah.
And then it decreases as you get older. So when older people fall, or middle-aged, 30s, 40s, 50s,
it bounces around more.
It bounces in there. It rattles more. So if you're under 12, you should be all right. You get a little rattle here and there. I took some really good hits in Pop Warner, dude, and I'm doing great, dude.
I just think, and I am not a put kids in a bubble. That's not me. When I'm on a playground with my niece and nephew and I see them doing something dangerous, I'm like, they're going to learn something real quick here. I'm not the helicopter parent, right? But putting kids in an activity that is constant barrage on their body, because it is. I mean, is. It's people slamming into each other.
Yeah, no, I
that
get it.
isn't healthy. Now, if you get a little bit older and that's what you want to do and that's your profession, you can start making adult decisions. You do whatever you want to do. I have no problem with that. But there are even active NFL players who are like, I'm not going to let my kid play sports.
I would like to see who those NFL players are.
Look at like
Johnny,
major
can you look
NFL
up if
players.
any NFL players are for this ban in California?
I wouldn't say maybe not this band specifically, but they're saying I am not.
Hey, we're gonna look it up. We're gonna see.
Okay, I just mean their sentiment is, I feel how I feel now at age 50. You know, if they're retired, I don't want my children to feel like this because their body gets destroyed.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like they're able to take those hits, dude. I don't know. I have insanely good memories of playing youth football and those hits that I hit and those hits that I took. Man.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's just like, of course, California would be the first to do this, right? And I feel like there's going to be a lot that aren't going to follow suit. This could be another reason where, like, dude, I'm so into football. My son's so into football, or maybe eventually my daughter's into football.
Hell yeah, dude.
And he wants to go pro, and I want him to learn this stuff before he goes into high school. You know what I mean? If you do that and you wait, then maybe you hit high school. Like, I feel like you could get more injured, like not knowing what to do and like not having that little bit of experience if you're really into football.
You got something for us, Johnny? Yeah, pipe in.
So, a month ago, all this stuff was coming out, but now with like the most recent thing is from San Diego Union Tribune.
You know why?
And they're saying that Newsom will not sign that if it makes it all the way to his desk. He said he won't pass it. That's the most recent thing. I can't find any football players backing it.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with elections coming around because I know he's kind of on a tour of trying to do some damage control.
Yeah.
Same thing with the shoplifting thing and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't doubt that this comes back around at all.
Yeah, we'll see how it ends up. Like, again, I'm not one of those people who I'm not touting like it needs to be banned. But I understand. I understand why people want it banned for younger kids because again, we're seeing the science and we're seeing what that longevity of being hit has.
Have we
on
seen
people.
the science in kids though? Like, of course we know CTE and then it's NFL players because like not many people are going past college level, and I'm sure there can be some CTE in the college level field, but like we're really only seeing it in NFL, which I get it, and that's the price you pay for making millions of dollars as an NFL athlete.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's just like what's next? Then high school is next, right? And then college football.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I'm saying I can understand why people want tackle football banned for kids. I get it. Do you really not like understand it?
I do, but I just think that, hey, when Nova's doctor was like, hey, she takes a little fall, she's gonna be fine. Like the brain's nice and tight in there, it's snug.
Yeah. Kids are made to be malleable.
So that's kind of my thing. Is like, yeah, and then like, yeah, I've seen some broken arms and stuff like that when I was playing football too. But it's like, it's just, I don't know, it's just part of it, and it's a damn American sport.
And that's, I think, what we're going to get a lot of feedback on, which I get, which it's true. But just because a kid can take trauma,
he absolutely should. I get it.
Let's move on. Doesn't mean they should.
So, I mean, it seems like there's obviously been some, here's the thing. It sounds like this is still going through, but Gavin Newsom's like, hey, if that reaches my desk, you guys don't worry. There's no way in hell I'm passing that thing.
Some politics going on.
Because he wants to get some... I'm not going to get into that. So phased implementation of the ban under 6 in 2025, under 10 in 2027, and under 12 in 2029. So they're even banning it for our 6-year-olds.
That damn American sport. I love diaper football. It's the best.
Dude, I was running amok out there. And I was
under 6, dude.
Flag football is just so boring, dude.
Were you playing tackle football at 6?
No, at 8.
Okay.
But that means I couldn't have played if it was under 10 in 2027, and then I would have not, under 12.
Yeah, you would have gone state,
but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like flag football is just so like there was just like ooh.
A perfect flag football pantomime.
Like that's what you're doing. That's what we've succumbed to is the. All right, let's go on to the last topic here.
God, the greatest flag football move of all time. That's impressive. I can tell you've been playing football since you were 8. That was good. That was good. I couldn't do it.
Where is it?
Right here. Up. Cool. So, yeah, I honestly, so our third topic is the push for rent control in Concord. I honestly didn't know that Concord didn't have rent control. I know we've talked about Vallejo and Martinez don't, but I did not know that Concord didn't have rent control. So there was some protests and obviously a push for Concord to be a rent control city.
Yeah, and so what does that exactly mean for the city?
So, John, if you scroll down a little bit, we got some stats. So the proposed ordinance, which would be rent control, would limit rent increases to either 60% of the chain in CPI, Consumer Price Index, or 3% of current rate. So whichever is lower. For a median price apartment in Concord, say it's almost $2,500 a month, a renter would face a rent increase of no more than $73. So you can only raise at 3% at a time.
Sure.
Another big one though is the ordinance also would require that landlords have just cause to evict a tenant and provide protections and sometimes compensation for tenants for no-fault evictions, such as when the owner wants to move into the unit or when the unit needs substantial renovations. What's your thoughts on this one? What's your thoughts on rent control in general?
Oh, that's a really tough question.
Don't tease the line. Just give your honest thoughts. I'll give my honest thoughts.
No, for sure.
Don't be Gavin Newsom in it, dude.
I'm not.
You're trying to come up with the most logical. You're like, oh man.
Look, I'm never gonna Gavin Newsom anything, okay? And if rent control comes to my city of Benicia, I will never sign it, okay?
Yeah.
It'll never reach my desk and
Yeah.
it'll never be signed. No, well, I think it's a really nuanced. It really is a nuanced issue because on both sides of it, I can understand. On one side, I can see where landlords who own an asset feel like they should be able to do whatever they want with their asset. It's their asset. I fully get that.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you have your renters who are upset, rightfully so, when their rent goes up substantially.
Yeah.
Time and time again. But I actually got into an interesting conversation with a landlord on our TikTok. We posted about AB 12. And he basically said, well, I could just raise it for whatever I want. And I basically said, which is your right to do, I feel like. But what happens when it gets too high and no one rents your house? Mm-hmm. Because eventually there's going to be a breaking point of rent to what people can afford in rent.
Yeah.
And so I think as much as landlords are going to hate rent control, I think it might be like a necessary evil to help keep like a homeostasis of they might not be making top, absolutely tippy top dollar off of their rent, but it keeps people being able to afford so that the houses can be not just empty and vacant.
I think this is where it's tough for me because, California, right? Just whatever you want to call it, red or blue. A lot of the people are moving. Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when people are like leaving California, because like I'm tired of a blue state, right?
Sure.
I want a more red state. Those red states are all not this. They're the exact opposite of this. And there's so many people going to those states, right? So this is where it gets tough for me because there's a reason why people don't like to invest in real estate in California. This is one of those reasons.
Yeah, you have a high investment with not the highest return.
And I don't know. I think everybody has their opinions. They have their opinions on house flippers. They have their opinions on everything. Where I think like I don't know. Like you kind of said, I feel like when you own an asset like that, for the most part, you should be able to, within reason, do a lot of things that you don't get to do as a homeowner. But I think there could be some ways with rent control where things could be adjusted to be very equal with both parties.
And that's
like,
kind of, yeah.
The fact that somebody can't say, hey, this is my house and I'm ready to move in and give you proper notice for that, I think is insane.
I agree.
I think that's absolutely insane that you can buy something and then somebody has more power of it that you are charging a fee to live there over you as the owner. So I think that even if you're, hey, my mom's not doing well, I need her to move into my house. You like, I believe that does fall within some of the just cause, but I don't know, man. I think it kind of goes back to the same thing where the prices that California charges for rent, it's very, I've also never been a renter. So that's very hard for me to put my shoes on.
Oh, you've never been a
No.
renter? Oh, okay.
It's very hard for me to put my renter shoes on, I guess, in these situations, because I think like renters also don't realize the amount of costs that are incurred with everything too.
Sure.
So it's a tough one, but I know like, a lot of renters will see our stuff on TikTok and comment, and like they're very pro renters, and I get it. But
Yeah, because they're looking out for themselves,
Yeah.
which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Just like landlords look out for themselves.
Yeah. For the most part, though, I mean, like, I think the 3% raises are cool and everything, or they're okay, because there's a lot of landlords that just like forget to do that, and then they're like, well, now I have this tenant that's super under market rent over so many years, and it's like that's kind of your fault for not running your thing the right way.
Yeah, there has to be, and I think you talked about this on our last video.
Something for landlords to be held accountable
Yes.
for, but and then
Yes.
same thing for renters too. It's like you have to know, like you should know as a renter, like it should be okay. Like we just said, it should be totally okay for an owner to say, "Hey, I'm moving in."
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just it's frustrating that in this world there isn't just like more common sense, and
Yeah.
that's what bothers me.
Yeah,
That's what infuriates me so much more than anything else. Is just there's so many fixes that could be handled with just a little bit of common sense and human decency. But the problem is, because especially nowadays, how split and politicized, whatever you want to call it, the landscape is, everything has to be someone getting at someone because they want something.
Yeah.
If someone says, "Hey, I want this," the other side thinks, "Oh, so you're taking it from me."
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not the case. My getting more is not you getting less. Let's figure this out so where we can make this work. I think the rate increases are pretty fair, right? I mean, you can't just price gouge people. That's no one likes that for anything, whether it's renters. I mean, how do you feel? We talked about it when PG&E was like, "Oh, you're going to have to pay this much more now, and there's nothing you can do about it."
People just do it, and that's what's so weird to me, is that like you have this corporation that you, no matter what, like you pay, and then you're like, "Oh, well, it is what it is. What am I going to negotiate with PG&E?" But then you have just this person that worked hard and bought something, and then it's like you're the devil type of thing. It's kind of what I see. But at the end of the day, I just feel like there's already like the tenant laws the California housing laws are so in the tenant's favor for the most part.
Yes.
Might get dragged for saying that.
Well, but I think that they are.
Yeah, but then you add this, rent controls on top of that, and it's just even more. And it's like, where's the one-sided, or what's going to keep people that wanting to invest in California still or stay here? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the more you make things harder like that, the more that the wealthy are going to continue to stay here, and the non-wealthy are going to continue to leave.
California's an expensive state to live
Yeah.
in. It just is. I don't know. I don't think there's anything that's really going to change that. We can kind of even the playing field, but California is just going to be one of the top 3 expensive states to live in all the time.
Forever, yeah.
Until we become a Star Trek society where money is nothing and there's no monetary value to anything, and everybody just gets
I would
along.
love that.
Like a utopia.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll make the Federation right away.
As long as I get to keep what I got now, I'm good.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No, all right, let's go ahead and wrap. Close this out.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for listening, watching this episode of Bay Area Boys. We always appreciate you tuning in. If you guys have any questions for us, Roland, myself, together, let us know. Leave it in the comments below or reach out to us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok. We have our handles below.
Are we on Spotify yet?
Working on that. But it's good because
Everybody wants us on Spotify, I heard.
I'll have everybody
Yeah,
does.
dude, I'm getting
Okay, well then
DM here, a little DM there.
that will be my weekend plan for this
It's
weekend.
actually just Johnny that wants us on Spotify.
Well, we love you. We love it. And producer Johnny, always big thanks to him. So again, make sure to check us out on whatever platform that you like to watch us or listen to us on. We will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Take it easy.